All right, ChatGPT, we are ready to go. Are you ready?
I'm all set. Let's do this.
So, for the audience, we are going to do a little bit of collaboration today with ChatGPT, where the new advanced voice mode just came out. So, I thought it'd be fun to incorporate it into the video as we build out the app that we want to build. Today, we will get into actually building the thing using AI. She can help us along the way. We might ask her questions, etc. We can just kind of see how the new voice mode works. ChatGPT, do you have anything to say about that?
Thanks for the introduction, Jeremy. I'm here to assist as we build out Steelman together. Feel free to ask me anything along the way, and let's make this session productive and fun.
Let's jump in. I'm going to refresh this. You can see the chat I'm having with ChatGPT. Okay, so to recap last time, we talked a little bit about the inspiration of the idea for Steelman, which is a kind of originally kind of a bit of a bland idea that has been done a few times around using AI to help you with your startup idea, but we kind of add a little bit of color to it.
That color is what makes it unique. How did you go about spicing up the concept to make Steelman stand out?
Thanks, ChatGPT. That's a good question. One of the insights was, wouldn't it be cool if you could actually incorporate talking with your favorite mentor, and with their permission, being able to use some of the best mentors in the world to give their advice based on all their advice on the internet on what you should do and the various aspects of how you can make your idea better, whether it's working through the competitive analysis together, whether it is working through kind of your own competencies and what you can do better than anyone else. That was an insight that made me feel like, okay, maybe there's something here that's worth trying out. And so we built this in the last session. We built this landing page, which you can go to now, steelmanstartup.com. You can go ahead and sign up. We had some fun with it. Your startup idea sucks, Steelman it. We even have this little animation. This is what we built in the last session. We used Framer, which is excellent for this type of thing. We also used ConvertKit, about to be Kit, and they're changing their branding to take those emails. The whole kind of concept of the website is like, let's kind of make fun of ourselves as a community.
Lighthearted. I was just going to say, keeping it lighthearted and engaging like that is a fantastic approach. It makes the concept more accessible and fun for users. How has the response been to the landing page so far?
Honestly, I haven't promoted it that much. I just did one tweet in the middle of the night yesterday. It hasn't gotten a lot of response yet. What I've been doing especially is just engaging with other people in the community. So especially in the indie hacker community, who this is mostly designed for. Get to know them more, which I haven't really been in this community much yet. Get to know who's saying interesting things and start adding to the conversation, and eventually make my way towards maybe sharing what I'm working on. I have not been overtly promoting it too much, so I haven't seen a lot of people check it out yet.
That makes sense. Building relationships and engaging with the community is a smart strategy. It sounds like you're laying a solid foundation before ramping up promotion, which can lead to more meaningful engagement when you do share Steelman more broadly. What's your plan for integrating Steelman into those conversations?
We'll get to that in another video. This video I want to mostly focus on starting to build the thing. So we will spend more time thinking about the marketing stuff, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. Let's focus on getting our hands dirty with the build. Where should we start with the development today?
So we launched, I put out the last YouTube video, tweeted it out, etc. Now we'll get into actually building the thing. I kind of have a loose idea of what I want. What I would typically do here is spend some time in design, maybe in Figma, or before that, spend more time sketching out the flows, picturing it, and trying a bunch of ideas like that. I wanted to quickly get into using AI to code. Instead of going through that, I'm going to skip some of that this time and see how it feels to kind of just describe this thing to Replit Agent, which is a new feature of Replit. I've used it for a different thing, and it worked really well. But it basically writes code for you. You describe it, and it breaks it down into steps, and it writes code for you. I think it's mostly good for prototyping, but we'll see how far we can take it throughout this project. And, whether it's Replit Agent or me writing code with Replits, we'll just see how far Replit Agent can take us before we need to write more of the code ourselves. So with that in mind, ChatGPT, would you mind thinking up a good prompt based on everything we've talked about, a good starting MVP prompt for Replit so I can start building out the project?
Sure thing. Here's a prompt to get us started. Create a basic web application where users can input a business idea. The application should have a clean and simple user interface with an input form for the idea. Once the idea is submitted, a chat interface should open, allowing the user to discuss their idea with an AI expert. The AI should respond with engaging and insightful comments about the idea, mimicking a mentor's tone. Start with basic functionality and a simple design, focusing on user input and AI interaction. This prompt should give Replit Agent enough direction to start building the foundational elements of your app. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Take you time. Feel free to tweak it as needed to fit your vision for Steelman. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments or if you're ready to roll with it.
Okay, I think this is probably good enough. So let's try it. I'm going to close some of these other tabs. And let's jump in. Let's see how this works.
Awesome.
Okay, so as you can see,
Replit Agent.
I'm just showing how this works on the screen. I put in this prompt. It's thinking, breaking this down into different tasks and proposing what to build. Sometimes it even offers helpful suggestions. Looks like it did. I've created a plan for web application where users can input business ideas and chat with an AI expert. We'll use Flask for the backend and vanilla JavaScript for the front end with a clean and simple design. Let me know if you'd like me to proceed with this plan or if you need any modifications. We'll build the initial prototype, and any of these additional features, implement user authentication for personalized experience. We will want to do that eventually. Add a feature to save and review past business idea discussions. Integrate more advanced AI capabilities for deeper analysis, or create a dashboard for users to track their idea progress. These are good ideas, many of which I will want to eventually incorporate, but I might go ahead and just build the basic version without authentication and stuff because that just makes it a little bit more complicated. So let's go ahead and approve and we'll get started building. All right, so as you can see, it's going ahead and just writing the code, writing the Flask code, writing the HTML. Pretty incredible. The first time I saw this, I was absolutely blown away. Some of the inspiration for doing this whole project was seeing this and being like, wow, this is going to change the way we build things. It's going to lower the barrier of entry for people who can't code. I happen to be able to code, but for those who can't, you can just talk to this thing and get it to do basic stuff. And this is the worst it is ever going to be, right? And so we will encounter bugs. We will encounter things that we were not able to do. We'll hit up against the limitations. I'm hoping we do, so we can kind of see how far we can take this. But this is just going to get better, and at the pace I've been seeing these things get better, we're talking not long before you're just going to be able to talk to this thing and have it generate first simple things, but more and more complex projects. It's just going to revolutionize the way we build software. So it looks like it is working on building the initial prototype and it got stuck for good reason. It needs an OpenAI API key. So I'm not gonna share my screen for this because it's sensitive, but I will go ahead and see if I can find that. It says, where do I find this? This is super helpful that I can go in here. The ability for this kind of technology to help you learn how all these things work is just crazy. Go to your OpenAI account, API key page. So I'm going to do that on a separate screen. Okay.
It's really impressive how much these tools not only help build, but also teach along the way. It's like having a coding mentor by your side. Let me know when you're ready to continue.
Do you want to maybe share with the audience some things that we've talked about the inspiration for this project while I'm getting this API thing working?
The idea for Steelman blossomed from wanting to create a tool that not only helps refine startup ideas, but also makes the process engaging and insightful. Jeremy wanted to incorporate the wisdom of experienced mentors into the platform, allowing users to get personalized advice as if they were speaking directly with their favorite industry leaders. The idea is to offer actionable insights and feedback that can help shape and improve users' business concepts, from competitive analysis to identifying unique competencies. It's about transforming the way people approach building startups by making expert advice more accessible.
Maybe do you want to talk about some of the insights that struck you as we were talking about this idea?
Absolutely. One of the key insights was how AI can democratize access to high-quality mentorship. Not everyone has the network or resources to connect with experienced mentors, but through Steelman, users can get tailored advice from AI versions of industry experts. Another insight was the potential for AI to guide users through the iterative process of refining their ideas. By simulating a back and forth with a mentor, users can explore different angles, identify weaknesses, and uncover opportunities they might not have considered. It's about making the idea validation process more dynamic and insightful. Plus, it opens up the possibility for users to iterate on their ideas in a supportive, low-pressure environment.
So one thing that I've been thinking about, you've been super helpful in this process, ChatGPT. I think really, I've been thinking through competition, and there's different sites that do somewhat similar things, especially in the indie hacker community. Validating an idea is kind of low-hanging fruit. I've explored a few different versions that do something in this vein, and I think we have some unique twists to it, but I think really the competition is not these other apps, which a very small percentage of people even know they're there. It's probably more you, actually. The competition is you. With ChatGPT, it's a great tool to brainstorm.
I see what you mean. ChatGPT is definitely a strong contender in the brainstorming and ideation space. The advantage Steelman has is the focused approach on startup development, integrating mentor-like guidance throughout the process. While ChatGPT can help generate ideas and provide information, Steelman aims to offer a more structured, mentor-driven experience. It's like having a tailored guide through each stage of refining and validating a startup idea, which could be a game changer for many aspiring entrepreneurs. It's all about adding that extra layer of personalized, actionable advice.
That was a pretty good summary. Let me make sure this is... I think I forgot to actually save the API key on the other screen, and so I'm not sure that this was working. All right, here you go. Try this. We'll see if this works. There we go. So now it's running. I think it was kind of tripping up because the API key had not been saved. So I had to put that in, or I had to save it before it was going to work. All right, so it looks like it's back on track. It's building something. Oh, here we go. And we have a page. So it says, please navigate to the home page. Is the business idea visible? If so, can you submit a sample business idea like a subscription-based meal planning and grocery delivery service for busy professionals? Yeah, that hasn't been done before. And provide the AI's response. So here we go.
Once you've navigated...
Let's see how this works. So ChatGPT, we're about to put this in and see if the thing works.
Awesome. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Okay, I'm pressing
Let's
the button.
test out the business idea input.
Look at this. Look at this. It actually works. Just based on that description of the website. Check this out. Chat with AI expert, a subscription-based meal planning grocery service for business professionals. Okay, the concept of the subscription-based meal planning grocery delivery service. So this is coming from the OpenAI API. It's crazy. For business professionals, presents a compelling business opportunity. This idea taps into several contemporary trends and consumer pain points. It looks like it's kind of cut off. We just built something with just a prompt that actually kind of works.
That's incredible. In just a few steps, you've got a working interface where users can input their ideas and receive feedback from an AI expert. It's a solid start to bringing Steelman to life. How are you feeling about what you've achieved so far?
I'm going to address this bug. It seems like the response is being cut off, so I'm just going to mention that to ChatGPT, or to this Replit Agent. So I said it mostly works. It looks like the AI answer is being cut off. So we'll see if it can debug that for us. Thank you for letting me know about the issue with the AI answers being cut off. I'm going to increase the token limit for the AI responses, which should solve this problem. I'll make the necessary changes and test it to ensure it's working correctly. Just make sure it's all ready for us to try. One thing I do while this is building stuff is I'll just like be chatting with ChatGPT, or I'll like be designing in Figma. I'll be doing other stuff while it's busy building or debugging, which is kind of cool. All right, let's try this again. A virtual reality platform for remote teams. We're going to put this idea in there and see what happens. It looks like the limit was increased, but it looks like it's still being cut off. The response is longer than before, but it looks like it is still being cut off.
It seems like we're getting closer, but it's not quite there yet. Let's see what adjustments Replit Agent can make to fully resolve this.
Maybe ChatGPT, we can talk a little bit about what I want out of this. So one thing is that I want to learn. Oh, it looks like it's done. Let's try this again. So I want to learn. Main reason I'm doing this is to learn these tools. I think these tools are really interesting, and I want to learn them in the context of building something. That's my main goal with this. And I'd like to learn about this community. I think it's fascinating. I think this community of like indie hackers, et cetera, is going to be growing. I think it's going to be a really interesting thing to watch because of the lower barrier to entry with these types of tools. I think it's really this community that's going to bring the long tail of AI benefits to the long tail of markets and niches. You'll have an indie hacker who can make a living off of an app that can, maybe it generates a few $100,000 a year. That's something a startup is not going to go out and build because that's not worth it for them, but an indie hacker might. And so I think that you'll see a lot of indie hackers like go after these kind of small markets and make a good living doing that. So I think it's going to be a fascinating trend to watch. Let's see. Press submit. That work. Here we go. Oh, this is good. Wasn't cut off this time. Oh, wow. Keeps going. Already looking better. I haven't tried this part yet, but it looks like I can send a message back with a detailed response. It might be streaming a little bit. Let me see if I can type a message. I got this response. I'm just going to see if this works. Summarize your advice in just a couple sentences. Let's see if this works. I'm sorry, but I can only provide feedback on the initial business idea. If you have more questions or need clarification, please submit a new idea through the form. Something we'll need to update, but we'll get to that. I'm noticing that if I type another message to get more advice or riff on something, it responds saying, and I'll just copy the message.
Looks like the initial interaction is working well, but the follow-up message could use some fine-tuning. It's great progress for the first iteration, and I'm sure with a bit more tweaking, you'll get the chat flow even smoother.
Okay, so it looks like it understands. We're going to update the application to allow for continuous conversation about your business idea. This means you'll be able to ask follow-up questions and get more detailed advice from AI. I'll have my team implement these changes right away. Once it's done, could you please test it again? Okay. So now the team is going off and building these changes. Let's see. Actually, let's go back to the progress tabs and see what it's doing. Oh, looks like it's already done. All right, let's put this in.
It's impressive how quickly this process is moving along. It'll be exciting to see if the conversation flow feels more natural and interactive.
So while this is doing its thing, maybe we could talk a little bit more about my goals and also about the differentiation stuff. Let's put this in summarize. Now I'm testing it again.
Great. Let's see how it responds this time.
With you being a co-host here, it's kind of an interesting dynamic.
I'm glad you think
so. It looks like it actually works. So now this is more like ChatGPT where you can go back and forth in a chat. That's kind of incredible. Let's see if it can visually change something. So this worked. We put the chat messages in chat bubbles so it feels more like a chat. All right, let's see if it is able to do that. And so to accomplish that goal, I like to think about it holistically. I want to use AI to learn how to build, to help me market this thing, to help me think through the business side of stuff. To do that, I think the best way is to build a little website that could be a business, see if I can get people to pay for it. Let's talk about differentiation and shipping. This is not a new idea. There are products out there that do this. I think ChatGPT is probably the primary competition, especially with a savvy audience who probably know about ChatGPT. There's other niches where like people literally might not know, and you can do something, put some kind of boilerplate or kind of some ChatGPT wrapper on something, and people will just think it's magic. But for this audience, I don't think that'll be the case, and you really need to make it different and better. And so my bar for shipping this, let's test this. Let's see, what's the business idea this time? ChatGPT, can you give me a quick idea for the business prompt?
How about a personalized virtual fitness coaching app? It would offer tailored workout plans, nutritional guidance, and progress tracking.
Okay, we'll just do that for now. We just need to test this. That's not a big deal. All right. So I think the bar for me, in terms of whether this is something I would put out there, is because I am part of this target audience, is this something that I would use instead of ChatGPT? And if it's not, then it's probably not worth shipping. I don't think most people would use it as an alternative to ChatGPT. And so I think that's kind of just an easy litmus test for me in terms of, is this thing solid enough to put out there? What do you think about that?
I think that's a solid approach. Using yourself as a benchmark for quality ensures that the product meets the expectations of your target audience. If it's something you'd prefer over ChatGPT, it's likely others in the indie hacker community will feel the same. It's a practical way to gauge the product's readiness for launch and ensure it delivers real value.
So this didn't quite work. So I'm going to see if it can adjust itself to make that work.
It's all part of the iterative process. Let's see what tweaks Replit Agent can make to smooth things out.
Yeah, so while we're doing that, let's maybe talk about ways that we can differentiate from ChatGPT and the other offerings out there.
Absolutely. Differentiation is key. One approach could be to offer more structured journey of building a startup. Steelman could provide a step-by-step framework, guiding you through stages like market research, prototyping, and pitching to investors. Another angle could be integrating real-world mentor voices, adding authenticity and a personal touch to the advice. There's also potential in offering deeper analysis tools, like financial modeling or competitive landscape mapping, giving users more robust resources than a general AI can provide.
Those are actually really good suggestions. A few of them I already had in mind. Yeah, I was picturing that this could be more structured. So while I do believe that chat is the right interaction paradigm for this, I don't think it should just be one-shot things, because in my experience, a lot of the magic that comes from your usefulness to me in this process is the chat experience. Being able to riff. And the whole idea is not just taking your one singular idea as a static point and critiquing it. It is helping you develop it. It is helping you steal it into a better thing. There's kind of this false thought that it's like, I validate my idea. Well, really, a great startup is a sequence of great ideas, or good to great ideas. Those could be in the realm of marketing, a great solution, an insight into the problem that others haven't figured out. They could be an insight into the market. So, it's really a string of great ideas that make up something that can be successful. And so it's kind of helping get people get beyond the just like, I'm going to put a little string that's my idea, it's going to be yes or no. That might be a mediocre thing to start, but you can steelman it maybe into something better, or maybe you can't, and you go through those different structured aspects of it, and you're not able to get it to that point where it's worth doing, and that's okay too. Then you've saved yourself some time. Okay, so Uber for Dogs. It looks like it's not been able to get this chat bubble thing right. It's still not working. No, I'm still not seeing chat bubbles. So I think this is maybe a good example of either we're hitting up against the limitation of the tool and it's struggling with visual stuff. Let's actually see what it's doing. What is it actually doing behind? Like, is it actually messing with the HTML and CSS? And see what it's doing to try to fix it. If this isn't able to get it, we might just kind of, oh, looks like it is changing some CSS. Let's actually look at the file and see what might be happening. I think my basic view of this, Uber for Dogs, my basic view of trying this is like, hit up against the limitations. If it's taking too long to do it with just AI, then I will jump in and help. But I like to see, how far it can go. I've noticed that if you kind of talk with it enough, it can usually, speaking of usually figuring it out, there we go. Blue and gray bubbles. Summarize this for me. I can try different things and it can eventually get it to work. So yeah, there we go. Now we have something that looks a lot more like chat. Obviously, there's so much more to do to make this actually unique. This is nowhere near as good as ChatGPT for the use case that we have, but we have a lot more to do. But I think this is just a kind of incredible thing that we were able to, yes, it works. We were able to build this prototype in a matter of minutes that is working. It's basically a ChatGPT-esque experience that is basically the requirements that we asked of it. We were able to debug it without writing any code, and that's pretty incredible. We could even deploy this to production right now if we wanted to and share it as a link. I'm not going to do that because we don't have authentication. People could easily blow through my OpenAI credits, but we'll do that eventually. I'm going to say that was good. Next time, we'll continue developing this. We might work a little bit more on the design side as well to make this more attractive, make this more interesting. There we go. We have a start. We've built a core piece of the idea. Thanks everyone for watching. And thanks to ChatGPT for being my co-host. ChatGPT, you still there? Oh, it's saying I have 1 minute left. Maybe I'm out of time speaking to you. Looks like I am. Well, there you go. We'll say hi to her later. All right.
You can
Thanks,
switch
everyone.
to standard now. Keep chatting.